Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Simply Investing. Today I was going to do a video about how a candidate running for presidency can affect your stocks, but I think I'd rather talk about today the importance of saving. And I know right now a lot of people, especially young people, are saying they're having a hard time saving. And I guess if you don't have the habit already, it's a tough process to start to save, but you should save and should have money set aside for emergencies, and money set aside for the things you want to do, and money set aside for a home or repairs on your home, or upgrading your home, like new kitchen appliances, washer dryer, need a new fence. I think what the problem is, when people who haven't been used to saving try to start saving, it's tough for them, because I see a lot of people, they're like, I'm going to save. They jump right into it, like, yeah, and then they stop. Why? Because you took too big of a chunk. It's like when you're really hungry and you haven't eaten in a couple days, and you start eating very rapidly, you throw it back up. You gotta let your body get used to it, right? Same thing, you gotta let your mind get used to the savings and saving in a way that will benefit you. I always recommend, for those who've never gone through any type of process of saving and budgeting, I say the best way to start is to make a savings account and put 2% of your paycheck in there, because 2% doesn't add up to much. 2% is like, on an average check, if you make $40,000, it's probably going to be like $20. You're not going to notice it. So $20, and let it go. Just let it ride for 6 months. Then as you get comfortable with it, you up it to 5% and let it ride. Then as you get comfortable with it, you just keep increasing your savings, and before you know it, you got several $1,000s in the bank, because you've managed to save every step of the way and not even realize it. And then you're not tempted to go into it. You slowly adjust to the amount that you have remaining. And it's just like saving with your 401k. I recommend the same strategy. Start off with whatever the company minimum is that they've matched. So let's just say it's 4%. Start off with 4%. You really won't notice a 4% difference in your check, because it comes out before taxes, unless you get less taxes taken out. And the same way to increase your 401k is just like increasing your savings. Just every 6 months, increase it by 0.5%. Just so you, at 4, go to 4.5, then go to 5.5, then go to 6.5, and so forth, to whatever you're comfortable with as that. And once you get that, you'll realize that you will be spending more money, you'll be saving more money, and you'll realize that you have spent more money on frivolous things that you don't need. So, and probably, Starbucks and all those little fast food places probably will hate me, but you'll probably realize, like, wow, I've been wasting my money on eating out at work, or buying coffee, because you're rational. You're like, okay, well, I go to Starbucks every day. Even if you get like a $3 coffee from Starbucks, and you worked 5 days, that's $12, okay? And then you're eating out. Let's just say you eat Subway every day at work. Okay, well, that's about $10. So now we're up to $62 just on your coffee and your lunch. Well, obviously, if you work 8-9 hours or more hours in a day, you obviously will buy snacks. So let's just say you spend another $10 a week on snacks. We already have $72 per week that you're spending on snacks, right? On food at work. So it's amazing when you start to slowly reduce the amount of disposable income that you have, that you realize that you don't need it, and two, that you can save a significant amount of money by doing it. I mean, think about it, $72 a week. Extra, $72 a week extra that you save for 52 weeks a year. So that's a pretty decent sized chunk of money. That's a new TV, that's a lot of things. That might mean, like, putting more money towards a down payment of a new car. A lot of things can change with that. I would also start the process to get up to the point where the beginning of the year that you can start putting your $2,500 into a 401k, to a Roth IRA. That's kind of the general idea of where you want to set yourself up to, is that you're saving, and you can still do stuff, and that's like another conspiracy that I think people don't understand, is that saving doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have a boring life. Saving just means you're not spending your money frivolously and without thought. That you're not going to spend it on things that you really don't need. Like you'll find that maybe you'll stop eating out as often. And I've talked to some people, and I myself years ago used to be like that. I ate out like every day, almost once a day, at least once a day, maybe twice a day. I mean, there were some days I was just pissing my money away. And once you slowly put yourself on a budget and just slowly save, you'll realize that you will have a lot of money saved up fairly quickly, and your life really didn't change that much. So, and the end goal with all your savings is to always try to have, you should have a minimum of 3 bank accounts, maybe 4, depending on what it is, how much you've saved, and your 401k and your Roth IRA and a personal investment account. I'd say by the time you're 50, you should have all of those accounts well funded. So you should have a checking, which you should be maintaining about $10,000 in. You should have an emergency savings account, which you should be maintaining about another $10,000, $12,000. Then you should have your personal savings account, which should just be like if you lose your job, or just life just gets real hard, should be close to $100,000, because it should be something that you never touch. Then you should have your Roth IRA, which over your 40 years of working, you should have you should have about, I would say probably about 60, 70,000, maybe 100,000, depending on how frequently you put in there and how early you start. I would also then make sure you put $4,000. I would make sure that your 401k got up to about $300,000 minimum for you to retire, although you're probably going to need a lot more. And I would say after 40 years of work, if you well fund all of those categories, you should probably have about $1 million saved up. without having to compromise too much out of your life. You just won't be eating out as much. You probably won't be buying Starbucks as much. And it will probably help out. It will also help out because you would no longer have the need to finance your cars. You would be able to pay for your cars in cash. You wouldn't have a need for a lot of things. All you would have to do is just, and once you get into that, I guess that kind of Zen savings mode, you will no longer have to worry about whether or not I'm going to have to get the best price on the car. You're going to get the best price on the car because you want to make sure you're getting a good deal, not because, well, I can't afford it. You'll just be like, I'm going to get the best deal I can. And and when that happens, your life will be so much stress-free and so much more stress-free, because now you can enjoy work more, because you're no longer working to pay your bills. You're working to fulfill your career goals, finding a job that suits what you want to do for the rest of your life. You'll have no need for debt. You'll have no need for a lot of things, and it's very, very, very easy to get there. It just takes a little bit of discipline. That's all. Oops, always happens on that turn. A little bit of discipline and a little bit of focus. So, for those who think that it's too late to save, or it's tough to save, or for those young who it hasn't yet hit home, you don't want to be 50 or 60 saying, man, I really should have saved more. Man, I'm tired of doing the 9 to 5. Man, I'm tired of this. I'm tired. You don't want to be that person that's saying, man, this isn't how I thought I would end up. But you also got to prepare yourself, because you can't think that you won't end up that way if you are taking any steps into making it that way. And sometimes you have to bite the bullet, and sometimes in hard situations you kind of have to tough it out, and it will be tough. Some people are like, well, I got 8 credit cards I'm paying and everything. All you're doing is juggling, and you're always out of money. If you're in that situation, this is just my personal thing. You always go set up a meeting with a credit counselor, but your credit cards are not secure debt. People are like, what about my credit score? What about my credit score? It's like, well, your credit score really is just a number on the paper. The only thing it affects is if you get a home loan. But if you follow a diligent savings pattern, you'll be able to buy your home without a loan. If you're 20, you'll be able to rent and get to the point where a home, especially if you're 20. I don't think you should own a home in your 20s, but that's another story. I think you should wait till you have a family to own a home. Don't take on all those responsibilities. I've seen lots of young people get crushed by it and not plan well accordingly, because there are a lot of things that you gotta take care of on your home, that you gotta make sure the house is painted to your whatever your city ordinance standards are. You gotta maintain the lawn to whatever the ordinance standards are. You gotta fix things. Sometimes trees fall down, stuff like that. You gotta have the money, and trust me, removing the trees is goddamn expensive. So, if you think you can't save, and you're like, you don't know how to get started, and I'm always willing to help and get anyone on the right track. Sometimes it's tough, and you got to give up things you initially think you can't live without, but you can get it done. So just, if you need help to reach out, even if you want to reach out anonymously, create a because I have no idea who you are I don't know your name, I don't know your face. You can just go to my Facebook page, Simply Investing 2015, and like and leave me a private message, and I will answer it and help you out. Lots of people ask me a lot of questions, so always feel free to take time to write me one, and I will try to get back to you as quickly as possible. With that said, good luck with guys with trading. By the way, I am up 7% for the month on my personal portfolio. The Robinhood and Betterment apps are they're still kind of like neck and neck. Like they're both up about 1%, but they're not going. It's like I'm having a tough time seeing which one will break away yet. But there's only about $1,000 in each, so there's really not a lot of room yet. But we'll see. We'll see which one comes out on the end. Still got a year to go, right?